to start with to talk about a project that was one of my first projects, and then I'm going to talk about other things that I did in the last year or in the last 2 years, so you can get a bit of overview about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I'm not doing it out of free will. I have to do it. That's how I feel it. I don't know. And yeah, like the first thing I'm going to talk about is the image Fulgurator. It's an invention I made in 2007 as a young student, and it was basically the first thing I created that somehow wasn't just playing around, or actually it was just playing around. And so it's a machine that is designed to manipulate pictures that are taken by others while they are taken. So I can point that apparatus on something, and if then someone is taking a picture of that thing that I'm pointing it at, his picture will be manipulated without him knowing it. So I have I have the power to smuggle some information into pictures of others. They think it's reality, so I can actually change reality somehow. Yeah, so and actually it works. So I was really surprised by it. I didn't believe it. It's using the weakness of photography, that photography is only taking a split second of time and then afterwards pretending it would be reality like we normally see it, but it's only a very short moment. And if I'm able to just change this very short moment while the exposure time of the camera that is taking the picture, I can actually change the somehow reality that is then later in that image. So it's a flash projector that is projecting with a flash instead of a permanent light triggered by flashes of other cameras. And so it's a really simple technique, and it works quite good after I had to eliminate, of course, tons of small problems. But I used old camera technology first to just because it was cheap, but I made it look like a gun. Then I figured I can smuggle it into any event like that, because of course I thought, okay, I have to do this with big events, with politicians, and if you point something look like a gun, of course you're going to be shot. So I developed a second version that looks like a normal camera. And then I went out with that and made tests. This is a burning Reichstag. That's how it would look on the image, but in that night, no one showed up at the Reichstag to take a picture, so it was just a stupid test. So this is my first real action. I was very lucky that Obama came to Berlin in that time.
Meine Damen und Herren, bitte heißen Sie Senator Barack Obama aus den Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika willkommen.
I come to Berlin as so many of my countrymen have come before. Although tonight I speak to you not as a candidate for president, but as a citizen. A proud citizen of the United States and a fellow citizen of the world. Yes, there have been differences between America and Europe. No doubt there will be differences in the future. But the burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. A change of leadership in Washington will not lift this burden. In this new century, Americans and Europeans alike will be required to do more, not less. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way, to protect our common security and advance our common humanity. It is because of these aspirations that the airlift began. It is because of these aspirations that all free people everywhere became citizens of Berlin. It is in pursuit of these aspirations that a new generation, our generation, must make our mark on the world. People of Berlin and people of the world, the scale of our challenge is great. The road ahead will be long. But I come before you to say that we are heirs to a struggle for freedom. We are a people of improbable hope, with an eye towards the future, with resolve in our heart. Let us remember this history and answer our destiny and remake the world once again. Thank you, Berlin. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
There's a little cross on the speaking desk of Obama. So it's a pretty minimal change. And so that's what I'm trying to do, like to just make a small change to have, but to show actually, like to change the meaning of the whole image. Or in this case, actually, to show the meaning of the image that is already there, but amplifying it in one direction. So I had this idea after analyzing a lot of his campaign and all the images in that time in the press. Next action is inspired by Magritte, by this image. And yeah, took place in China. This time I had to dress like a tourist, as you can see, with the pants, because I had no press visa. It is yeah, I never saw so many policemen and undercover policemen in the same spot as there. And tons of tourists are taking pictures of the Mao portrait, Chinese tourists. It's kind of a thing that you have to do once in your life to take a picture with yourself in front of the Mao portrait. So it's a perfect environment where I just have to point my apparatus, and then lots of images are going to be changed. So there I'm doing a test with my own camera, but it needs some adjustment. So this is perfect. That was the first lucky shot, the first working one, and then now I'm going on and just waiting for others to take pictures. And this moment is the most important thing of the work. Yeah, where the people don't know what's going on, and but what I also like is if they don't notice it on site, but then at home look at the images and don't remember and don't know if they should trust their own memory or their images. Because normally we trust photography quite a lot. This is like the whole background of the project. It was my bachelor kind of thing that I did, and the whole, I was working on media and how we trust it and so on. I did a couple of more things. I'm not going to show all of them now. Some of you might know Wovereit. It was in the time where the O2 world was built. This is me here on Fashion Week among all the other photographers. That was really nice because they all thought I'm a photographer too and started to have these discussions with me about what settings to choose for shooting the models best, and I was pretending like I'm one of them. And that was a really nice experience for my artistic development. It really changed how I thought, because then I really wanted to make more of this stuff where you are undercover, and I will show an action later on that was where I had a similar experience. Okay, I think that's enough of Fulgurator. That's with the Pope. I did it with a Spanish artist, Santiago Sierra. He hated the Pope a lot and asked me if he can work together with me to do something. So we came up with this, and it was really fun because there was like 1 million of praying people, and I was they were all like this on the ground, and I was the only guy standing holding my it was amazing. So that was one of my first projects. Now I want to show something that is like really in a totally different direction. Yeah, the movie goes 40 minutes. And yeah, this was called Punishment 1. I had a whole exhibition about it with more things and images last year. And then this summer I did another thing that was connected to it, but this time I tried to punish freedom instead of nature. Yeah, this time the wall couldn't fight back, but there were some representatives of that wall. That actually also took our video footage, so I only have this shot. And some images that were shot by tourists that we got later on. For example, this shot. And also the next shot is shot by tourists. And there the next moment was really nice because yeah, like they did the typical stuff that they do when they arrest people. And there was actually also an idea of the performance. I wanted to be arrested on Liberty Island. And yeah, and later there was a scene that is not shot on camera, but when they took me away, the crowd was hat Applaus gemacht. Not because they liked me, but because they liked the police, so they finally arrest me. And that experience was amazing, like being in this whole crowd, being so happy about that I'm arrested now. But there were also these other guys from Brazil that actually gave us the footage later, and they really liked it, and then they asked for if they can take pictures with me later on, and yeah, so not all of them were against me. Just going to make now a 1-minute presentation of another project. It's an apparatus that is able to catch pigeons and color them. The most difficult way, in a way that it's not hurting the pigeon. So that was the most complicated thing that we had to spend a lot of time. I did the thing together with Julian Charriere, and another artist who's a good friend of mine. And yeah, so there is a blue pigeon, and yeah, this one is easier to see. This one is in Venice. Yeah, then we also built a small studio where we could take pictures of them. So we made an exhibition of 30 pigeons that we took portraits of. And actually, at the moment, there's one colored pigeon in Berlin. Because we made some tests, and because the first ones were all in Copenhagen and Venice, but now there's one in Berlin. That you can see in Kreuzberg, if you're lucky. Okay, now of course I could also talk about the whole ideas behind it, but there's no time. So, thank you.